Welcome to the English Open Doors Program Volunteer Spotlight Series. My name is Stephanie Haregrove, and I am a staff member with the National Volunteer Center of the English Open Doors Program. The National Volunteer Center brings native or near native English speakers into the classrooms here in the public schools here in Chile for our volunteers to be teaching assistants. And today I am with Joseph Valdez, who's one of our current volunteers, and I'll have him introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Joseph Valdez. I'm from Denver, Colorado in the US. And I'm here in Santiago in the center of the city. And I've been here for a little over 7 months now.
Okay. And Joseph, in getting started with this interview, as you are probably very aware, there are many programs available out there offering native or near native English speakers an opportunity to teach abroad. Why did you specifically choose the English Open Doors program?
I specifically chose this program because of its reputation. It has the Chilean Ministry of Education backing it. And so it seemed like a very well organized and just in general well put together program. And it also helps that they offer a little bit of financial help with the subsidy to help get you through and live here in Chile.
Okay. And do you feel that the experience you've had as a volunteer this year has met the expectations you had when you were looking into programs?
Yeah, absolutely. I came here with minimal expectations as far as just going and immersing myself in a new culture, meeting as many new people as possible, and being placed in a school where I can do the most good, where I can help the most. And certainly that is exactly what's been provided here in Chile with this program.
Okay. And what would you say has been the most positive aspect of your volunteer service thus far?
The most positive aspect of my volunteer service certainly has been the people that I've been able to meet here. My host family, the friends that I've made, and the students that I've worked with. Uh, Going to school every day and being welcomed with hugs and so much joy and excitement has been an incredible part of this experience.
Okay. And talking a little bit more specifically about that part of your experience, can you tell us about working in a Chilean classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. I was working with students from fifth grade to eighth grade, and the school that I was working at is a public school, and it has its challenges. Certainly, there's a wide range of English speaking abilities. Some of the students have very, very little practice with the English language, and some are very advanced. And so, certainly, you have to be able to adapt your teaching style to help as many students as possible. And in general, the schools here in Chile work certainly at a different pace than I think the schools do in the States. And so, in general, it's been a challenging but very rewarding experience.
Okay. And what about integrating into Chilean culture? Talk to us a little bit about your host family experience.
Certainly, I felt like I was very lucky with my host family placement. I live with an 83-year-old woman. She is the matriarch of the family. Her daughter is a teacher at the same school that I work at, and very, very lucky with my family. They're incredible. Right off the bat, they were inviting me to every family event, birthdays, everything, and they just brought me in as one of their own right away. And so I integrated into the culture very quickly, thanks to my host family.
Okay. And so to kind of expand on that a little bit, we currently have viewers who are potentially prospective volunteers. They're looking into probably a couple of different experiences or programs. What advice would you give to those prospective volunteers pertaining to living with a host family and integrating into Chilean culture?
Living with a host family, integrating into the culture, one thing that really helps is being flexible and always, saying yes to all of the amazing opportunities that you're being presented with. Families are going to want to invite you to everything, birthdays, weddings, everything. And if you get the opportunity and those invitations, it helps to say yes, even if you're kind of having a rough day or maybe you're not really feeling up to it. I guarantee that if you say yes, you go along, it'll turn out to be a rewarding experience. Those were some of my favorite experiences were the times where I felt a little tired or not really up to whatever I was invited to, and then I went along, and it turned out to be incredible. So,
Excellent.
highly recommend that.
Excellent. And my last question for you is kind of reflecting on this past year as a volunteer with the English Open Source program. What would you say is the most valuable lesson or the most important thing you're going to take as you walk away from this experience?
The most important lesson that I learned was just being open and being flexible and being fluid in your environment. If you're able to do that, then you're able to have an experience that is incredibly rewarding, full of love and great people that just want to know you, and you get the opportunity to know them as well. Certainly, there's challenges and there's uncomfortable moments, but if you're able to work through those and be flexible, you can make a home anywhere in the world, and that's what I was able to do here in Chile through this experience.
Okay, great, thank you. And so now we're going to open it up to our participants viewing our broadcast right now and answer some of the questions that they might have for you. Okay, so our first question asks, what was the most surprising aspect for you for living in Chile?
The most surprising aspect for living in Chile was it has a very strong political history and a lot of political activity here. There are constantly strikes and protests and things of that nature going on here because they're a very passionate culture about their government and their politics. And so it wasn't something that I necessarily expected. And when I got here, it played a big role in my experience. And so it's certainly something that was a surprise, but I enjoyed being a part of it as well. Felt honored to be a part of it.
Okay. The next question asks, what should I bring with me to use in the classroom?
Things that really help in the classroom, anything that could be like little gifts, incentives to motivate the students, foreign coins or stickers or anything that has little English phrases on it. It really helps to motivate the students, especially with the younger ones, your 5th and 6th grade students. They get very competitive over those kind of things. And also any sort of visual aid that you can bring along with you, flashcards or pictures, because when you're working with students who have very minimal experience with the English language, anything that can aid you along in teaching them will be a big help for you. So I highly recommend that.
Okay. And the last question that we have is, what is something I should know as a potential volunteer before coming to Chile?
Something to know as a potential volunteer coming here is that they're a very passionate culture, very passionate people about everything. And so kind of going back to the political environment, it helps to know the history and it helps to come into it with an open mind. There's certainly a lot of history here in Chile, and it helps to be able to have knowledge of that in order to have respect for the culture that you're going to be living in.
Okay, thank you. Those seem to be all the questions that we have from our participants. For those of you watching, to find out more about the English Open Source program and our volunteer initiative, we're up on a couple of different social media outlets, and we have a website which is listed first. If you would like to sign up for our mailing list, you'll receive regular updates about our application process, as well as what's going on with the English Open Source program. We also, if you notice at the bottom, we have an ambassador initiative. These are former volunteers who reach out to prospective volunteers. So if you would like to talk to a former volunteer and hear about their experience and ask them questions specifically pertaining to the volunteer initiative, please send us an email and we would be happy to connect them to you via email. And finally, these are our volunteer service dates for 2016. We have 2 services, which are 1 semester long, and we are currently offering 2 services, which are 2 semesters. Again, for more information about this volunteer initiative, please check out our website and send us an email if you have any questions. I would like to thank you, Joseph, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and sharing a bit about your experience. And thank you to those of you who are watching. Thanks for taking the time to find out a little bit more about what we have to offer. Have a great day.